Cailin, you've been out on 2 school visits to Parsons Green and Sheens to show off these trophies and to talk about careers in football for women. How have you found the 2 visits that you've done today?
Yeah, well, I think it's been really rewarding going out to the schools and just seeing how many girls and boys are playing sport in these schools. So although it's about playing football and the success that Hibs have that can hopefully inspire them into sport, encouraging them to get out and about and improve their health and well-being in different ways as well has been really beneficial, and it's great to see them all really enthusiastic about the sport that they are doing.
You were saying a couple of times during the visit as well that there are much more women obviously playing football and much more girls playing football now as well. Obviously the World Cup kicks off today as well. Are you hoping to see an increase in participation in the sport for women and girls?
Yeah, I think this is a really big opportunity for girls to realise that there's a pathway for them in football and in sport, and seeing so many role models out at the World Cup is hopefully going to be really inspiring for them, and something that we haven't really had as much coverage or as much interest in the past, but seeing all the advertising leading up to the game and all the other games and having Scotland involved in the World Cup for the first time is going to be really exciting, and I do hope that a lot of girls get inspired to go out and kick a ball around.
And there seemed to be quite a bit of interest as well among all the genders as well. I know how encouraging is it to see that they were asking, that young boys were asking such challenging questions of you about women's football and taking a keen interest in it as well.
Yeah, it was really pleasing because it is important to neutralise the divide between girls and boys thinking about football and responding to football activities, and to have boys appreciate women's football as a legitimate sport that can earn some respect as well is really important, and from a young age to have that appreciation that girls and boys can both participate is really good for kind of social attitudes, and also helping girls and boys have confidence in what their place is as they grow up.
What are you hoping that the children at these 2 primary schools will be taken away as a lesson from the talk that you've given to them?
Well, I hope they know how to enjoy their sport and understand the importance of enjoying it and seeing where it can take them, and realising that there's a lot of different paths that you can take to be involved in sport, because we don't want to see, when they get to high school, especially amongst girls, them dropping out of sport because they think they need to focus on school or losing interest. We want to show that there's a pathway all the way up to keep on playing, and just, I think, like you said, the appreciation between genders of each other's roles, and having the boys and girls teams at Sheens was really nice to see how they both kind of collaborate and are supportive of each other.
You were asked a couple of questions about the success of the team as well, so that brings us quite nicely onto the season so far as well. Of course, sitting next to you on the table is the SWPL Cup. You helped decide to win that, scoring the winning penalty in the shootout. How good a feeling was that to obviously lift the trophy yet again?
Yeah, it was really good, and I think it was an important win for us because we'd had a couple of disappointments in the league, and I think everybody outside of the team had been quite focused on the players that we'd lost and what impact that would make, and I think it was important for us as a team to stamp our authority again, saying yes, we are going to hold this trophy and we have won it for another year, and just to realise that although it's a different team from last year, this is the team we've got now and we can move forward from there. So it was an important win for the whole team, and I'm glad that I could play a part in it. How
would you assess the season so far now that we are at the midway point? As you say, there was obviously a lot of focus on the fact that certain players had left, but of course that good quality players were brought in as well. How do you feel that they've gelled in, and how do you feel that the season has gone to date?
Yeah, I think the players that have come in have done really well, especially the past few games. We've managed to get a lot of the under-23 players coming up and playing, and they've made a great impact. They've been very sharp and they're contributing a lot of training as well. So I'm really pleased to see that the pathway through the age groups is helping. And then in terms of the campaign, I think we just need to focus on each game individually as we do. We do still want to keep an eye on the league, but also thinking about Champions League coming up is really exciting for the club, since we haven't been in for a couple of years. So making the most of that opportunity and having that opportunity available for the younger players coming up is really exciting, and hopefully something we can make the most of.
It's a great summer for everybody involved with the women's team at the club. Of course, 2 players going to the World Cup. There's a handful of players going or staying rather for the women's under-19s Euros as well. Plus, as you say, the Champions League football as well. How encouraging is it to see that the club are obviously pushing on their developing players to play national team football, whether that's at an age group level or senior level, and also competing at the highest level competition that UEFA has to offer.
Yeah, I think it's really positive both for the players that are involved, in that they know that there's a lot of opportunity to go out and improve themselves and get what they want out of the football by the support that Hibs have given them and their own hard work. But also in terms of the wider community being able to step into these roles as role models and having a greater stature in the game. Referring back to the Bayern Munich game where we had so many supporters and at Easter Road, I think really raised the profile. And again, hopefully having the competition of the under-19s back at home will get a lot of the young girls who maybe couldn't get out of school to go and see the World Cup, to go and see a live game of the up-and-coming talent. So I think it's really positive, and hopefully we can see a great spike in interest following this big summer.
And I sort of mentioned a couple of times about the Women's World Cup as well in your talk, and about how you're going out there. How long are you going out there for, and what are you hoping to see the Scotland team achieve while they're out there?
Well, I'm going out there for a couple of weeks to see all of the group games with Scotland, and I'll be spending the second half of the trip on a coach conference to analyse some of the games, which will really help me in my coaching pathway to understand the game a bit better and to gain new knowledge from that. And I'm just really pleased that I can support Jenna and Joelle over there, and also players that we've played with in the past like Lizzie, Kirsty, who are out there as well. And I'm optimistic that they can get a few good results out of there. It's going to be a tough group, but I think they've shown the kind of resolve to get to this point, and I know they'll be really up for it. So I'm hoping they can put on a bit of a show for all the Scotland fans travelling over.